All right, well, I'm excited. I'm off to go look at another piece of property. My wife is with our daughter right now, and I'm going to find out how this one looks. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, we just turned off a state highway road here in North Texas and onto a series of country roads. They're called CRs, it's country road. And these are the type of roads you want to look for your country property. They are mostly in East Texas in several counties, well, actually many counties. The backcountry roads are paved. You won't find that in a lot of states. Most of those roads are going to be dirt. And these paved roads, although they are paved, they're quite a slow speed. So that is very important for our family. Not only because the amount of density and neighbors that we'd have on these backcountry roads would be less. We just don't want to live on what's called an FM, or farm to market road, or a state highway, an SH, because the speeds are just way too high. I don't want to put my family at risk from pulling out in traffic or trying to stop and make a turn into the property. And I honestly do not want to make the mistake of not putting up, say, proper fencing and having animals get out and get into the road. Most importantly, I don't want our young daughter and future little ones to be that close to traffic at that speed. The state highways in Texas, in East Texas anyway, are 70 miles an hour. Now the roads are safe for that. They're wide enough and flat enough and well maintained. But if you have property right on one of those, you're going to want to be extremely far back from that road with your home. And honestly, frankly, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't buy a piece of property with that amount of high-speed traffic. So this is a beautiful little country road, and we're going to go see this little piece of property. Well, that view is absolutely gorgeous. Bet you the sunset over that is phenomenal. Well, with a lot of prayer, hopefully this will be the piece of property that the Lord wants us to have. Let's go check it out. All right, folks, so the property is right around here somewhere. It's not clearly marked. We stumbled across this property by talking with a friend, and I believe it's right behind this hedge row here. This is actually really nice. What I like about it is it's nice and shielded from the road. So you can cut a nice driveway in here, and let's see if this is an opening we can cut through right here into the property. I think the property line is very near. Yeah, there's the tape. There's the tape for the edge of the property right there. Property's right in here. Most what you're going to find in East Texas is this scrubby pine. Since I'm not a native Texan, we'll have to research what type of trees are on the property. Probably southern yellow pine and some other mixes. There could be some nice hardwood in there, but we're going to go check it out as soon as I find a way to get us into the property here through that barbed wire fence or some other access point. All right, so I'm very happy that it's decided to stop sprinkling here, so I can show you guys potential property. This is the edge of the property right here. I believe I found a way in. I found a way in for my truck, but we're gonna walk in and see what kind of land we got here. We've got some scrubby little pines here that need to be seriously trimmed, and looks like we got a way to come in here. So when you're looking for land, it's going to be a lot of personal preference, sure. However, there's some things you really want to look for. But you know, in the end, I'm going to go through those, but at the end of the day, to get yourself and your family out of the city, really it's, God's going to provide whatever He can for you. He's going to always want the best for you. And, if it's a small 2-acre plot, then great. If it's 20 acres, phenomenal. It's whatever you can afford. It's through a lot of hard work and a lot of prayer and diligent effort, and listening to when God says no and when God says go. That's what you need to go do, what you need to go find in terms of the land. One thing you got to watch out for here in Texas are these fun guys. Fire ants. They are not friendly, and all they do is bite and make massive ant hills. They are not fun. My poor little girl already has some scars from these little buggers. The pain is not as intense as a bee sting, but it sure doesn't feel good. And unlike a bee sting, these little fire ants leave a scar. I've got several on my feet and my legs from working in the garden at our city house, and my little daughter, just from playing outside at our rental home here in the grass, stumbled across some. Didn't seem to bother her too much, but she's got some nasty little scars on her hands. Watch out for these things. I see some, I believe these are wild blackberries in here. I'm not going to go walking through there right now. I'm going to try and find a little bit clearer path. Here's an opening for a potential driveway. It's already got a few things cut out of it. There's a nice open clearing for a home site. So what you want to look for a house or a home site, a building site, is nice level clear piece of land. What that's going to do is cut down on your costs for you. So when we're looking for property, there's, like I said, several things you want to look for. Can you find a good water source? That'd be fantastic. Can you find a piece of land that is half wooded and half open, so you can garden and build a home right away, and then use potentially some of the wood on the property for burning, for a wood burning stove? Yeah. If you've got 2 acres, you're not going to have much wood. You want some trees to remain standing, so that they can shade the home. And I'm going to go in future videos and talk about home design, because I am an architect, and I've worked in the architecture profession for about 10 years. So there's some really great strategies for building passive solar homes that heat cool themselves, so you're not using a lot of electricity. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see that against the sky, but there are power lines that run through here. They're smaller power lines, And I know in this part of Texas there's a 15-foot easement on either side of those power lines you can't build on. But there is no road easement. So your property line goes right up to that road wherever they set it, which is nice. But we have this nice stand of trees here we don't want to mess with as a visual barrier from the road. But you can build right up to that. It'd be kind of silly to, but you can. So far it's looking like a nice property. So let's go check out what's down here. This is looking pretty thick. This will have to all be cleared out. In the summertime this can be quite a fire hazard. You see that scrubby brush there. That's all needs to be cleared out. There's a nice little trail path down here. I don't know if it's an old road or why it's cleared out like this, but you can see these pines. It looks like a lot of blackberries. Yum. Well, looks like this property tears down, and I know that there's a pond on the neighbor's land in the back, so all the water is going to continue to run down here. There might be you might have to do a little bit of berm work, building up some land to mitigate water, but overall that front portion up there is a fantastic building site. All this can be cleared out for your garden, and potentially you're going to want a shop down here. As part of homesteading, is you really need a really great shop that's stocked full with all the implements that you're going to need to work your country property. Beautiful. Even though it's an overcast day, it's just so beautiful. It's so peaceful compared to the craziness of the city. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. So there's a lot of things to think about and consider when looking for a country property. And a lot of things are personal. A lot of things are regional. Where do you live in the country? Do you want to move to another state? There are very many factors. Some factors are pretty set. So you want to look for a property that you can afford, for one. That's incredibly important. For two, it doesn't have a lot of electrical easements that cut it up in odd ways. A lot of, say, natural gas easements are common here in Texas. The property that we just saw had that electrical line easement, but it was really not that big of a deal. A couple properties we saw had 5 or 6 power lines intersecting and running through it. It was not a good situation. Thing you want to look for is water drainage and proximity to a water source. However, you want to stay out of the floodplain. You want to look on FEMA's website, .org. They have flood maps for the entire, well, almost entire United States. Look on there, look at the address of your property. They do have rudimentary property lines and topography contained in their maps, but they do have the 100-year floodplains. So you want to stay far away from those because they'll just cause you issues. Especially, I mean, even if your house is dry, your food source and your crops could get flooded out, and that's an important thing when you're homesteading and starting to go off grid. So if you have any other questions, there's a lot to talk about, but like I said before in the video, if it's 2 acres or if it's 20 or if it's 100, if you can afford it, move out, start your homestead. If you have any other comments, leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer your questions for you. And we'd love for you to give our videos a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. And subscribe. Hit the button and subscribe to our channel because we'll be putting up videos all the time. Also in some future videos I'll be talking about homesteading and house design on that homestead. So it's something that's a passion of mine, energy efficient housing, and it's going to be very, very affordable, and of course will vary per region and area that you live in, but we're going to give you some great techniques to construct a new home if that's something you want. If not, find a nice country home that's already existing. So anyway, appreciate it guys. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Hope you have a great day.